I'm Megan Cusick, and welcome to another episode of Vehicle Care Rockstars. We all have at least one teacher who sticks out in our memories. Maybe it was that wacky one whose antics made learning fun, or perhaps the instructor who made subject matter so interesting that you can still recall the lessons years later. For many of the students and alumni of Missouri's North Kansas City schools, that memorable teacher is automotive technology instructor Jack Stow. Jack himself teaches with the methodologies his favorite instructors used. Of course, he's put his own spin on them, updating with the times in the hopes that the knowledge will resonate with his students and be further passed down through the ages.
Hi, I'm Jack Stow. I'm the automotive technology instructor for North Kansas City School.
So, take us back. Tell us a little bit about your family background and how you got started in the whole automotive repair / education industry.
I grew up a car family kid. Dad was a part owner in a Dodge dealership.
Okay.
And growing up, cars were always around, and I was able to go into the dealership and do some things. Growing up, just like most kids, I got the car that I could afford, and it needed a lot of attention, and broke Dad's heart because it wasn't a Dodge. It was a Mach 1. So I got a 72 Mach 1 and went through it, and that's what it took for me to be a blue oval guy, and ended up that I was in the program that I teach now when I was in high school, and got into the automotive industry through that program.
However, that 72 Mach 1 proved critical to Stow's education and his future. The following semester, in the spring of 1982, his high school counselor, Larry Blackwell, saw Stow driving his, quote, death trap Mach 1, and told him about the new auto tech program the school district had started, thinking it would be a good fit for him. Stow spent the next 2 years off campus learning from master technician Bob Vetter. At the same time, when Stow had first bought the Mach 1, it had a safety recall notice on it. He took it to the nearby Bill Woods Ford dealership to have it serviced. There he met J.B. Helm, who became a mentor to him and helped him land a job at the dealership after he graduated high school.
I'm of a generation that you didn't have to go to college to get into the industry, so I went to work and worked at the dealership through the 90s, well into the 90s, and then coming into the 2001 time frame, that's when I took over the program that I teach now.
Okay. And so I guess how did you get into that program? Like, what led you to change your mindset from thinking like, oh, I'm going to work at the dealership, work and repair, to I'm going to teach it?
When I was in high school, I, just like a lot of kids, justifying that I was rowdy, and I enjoyed having fun, and I wasn't as focused on being a good student as what I should have been. And when I got into the automotive program, that changed so much for me. My other grades started going up, and I bonded with my instructor, and we stayed friends up until his passing during COVID. I knew early on that I would like to be that person for somebody. And Mr. Vetter and I stayed in contact, and he kind of coached me up on things that I needed to do. And he knew that I wanted to take his place, and he trusted me enough to do it. And I just kind of wanted to step into his shoes and try to be a role model for the kids that were coming through.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I think we all have those teachers we can look back on and say, like, you made teaching amazing. If I was to go in this field, I would want to be like you.
That's it, exactly. And he took my maturity level up. He made me realize that I could do something that I love for a living, and he let me realize that I could be good at doing this and I could make a living doing it, and it's okay that I wasn't that let's go to college person.
Yeah. All right, so now I have to ask, which is more difficult, repairing a car or teaching?
Teaching.
Okay, tell me about it.
I can fix a car. In all seriousness, I have a strategy that fixes a car. I have a flow chart. I have my symptoms, my codes, whatever. Every kid's different. The hardest part of my job is honing in on what does this kid need? How does this kid learn? There's just never a carbon copy. There's no model to go by. And it's reaching that kid and having them have that aha moment of what I did, hopefully what I did when I was in school.
What is, I guess, your teaching style then? You know, how do you get the kids engaged?
I run a live shop. And what I mean by that is I have vehicles that come in that people depend on. So we'll start with me bringing cars in that I have that are shop vehicles, parts of vehicles, getting them used to stuff. But then I'll start bringing their cars in, their family cars in, things like that, that adds to the accountability. When you see a kid that, and I'll give an example of myself, and it happens still to this day. When I was in school and I'd be walking down the hall and I'd see a principal or a counselor, I might turn and take the long way to whatever class I was going, like many kids. And just don't take that chance, right? And there was a day that I was at school and a gentleman, Joe Sprudy, came up and he threw me the keys to his car. And this was back when I was a senior. And he said, "Man, take that down to Auto Tech. My brakes are making some noise." That was the first time that I had ever had that relationship with a teacher, faculty member, anything. So when a kid gets to that point that maybe they develop a new relationship with people, they start seeing administration, teachers in a completely human light, and the teachers maybe start seeing them instead of a
hooligan
kid.
baby.
Yeah. It's a cool thing to see. And I think that piece really draws the kids in to, they're successful. Mm-hmm. And I think that makes them hunger to do more and be more successful and prove themselves.
Yeah, I really like that idea. I think that accountability is absolutely key, because when it becomes personal for you, like, you suddenly care more, and hopefully that can, transition into, even if it's not about you, caring for someone else just as you would care about you and your own family.
And that's a huge part of my program. When something comes in, treat it just like your mom. It is your mom's car. Mm-hmm. Because you'll treat that better than you'll treat your car. Yeah. It's mom's car. So everything that comes in is of that importance. And every part of it, you take a hubcap off, something like that, don't flip it so it's going to get scratched. Right. Always try to think, what's my best practice here? Mm-hmm. And that, from start to finish, the 2 years that I've got them, that's the goal, is think about the best outcome.
So on that note of, caring for others, tell me about this kind of new, so to speak, charity project you're working on with your students. We've dubbed it Project Maui. And we got a lot of help from Heartland Chevrolet. They're one of our partners in industry. They hire kids to go through the GM program and so on, but they help us out in a lot of other ways. So they had a car that came through,
We were able to pick it up for $500. Great learning experience for the kids because it needed timing chains and just some general work. And a friend of mine lives in Maui, and if you've heard about the Maui fires that happened last year,
Yes.
Ohms and his family, their entire community, when that happened, it happened so fast that they had to swim out into the bay just to survive.
Yeah.
At this point, they haven't even been able to start cleanup because there's no place to put the debris.
Right.
There's no building material, and there's no vehicles. There's nothing. So every day they have to transport food from FEMA Red Cross to the community. But again, there's very few people that have vehicles. So we got to thinking, what could we do that might support this effort? And we found this car, and if you don't dream big, you don't do big.
Yeah.
So we got a hold of GM Corporate, who they've got their own shipping and lanes and everything, and we asked, is there any way that you could guide us on how to get this to Maui? And through that, it's inexpensive. They're like, if you can give us $1,200, we'll get it from Kansas City to California, from California to Oahu. So we're going to be able to get this 2014 Chevy Captiva, which the kids have learned a ton doing all the repairs, and it's going to get to Maui, and it's going to be a vehicle that can help the whole community.
That's amazing. How did the kids feel about participating in this project?
They're excited. As a matter of fact, the local news just earlier this week came down and did some live shots talking to the kids, and it means a lot more to them than even I knew. Talking about being able to help somebody that they likely will never meet.
Right.
Doing something that putting themselves out there, an investment that they might never see the reward of, but they know it's there. What maturity.
Right.
You know, I love it.
This isn't the first time Jack's students have proven to be outstanding. In 2020, Wix Filters, in conjunction with Tomorrow's Technician, named C-Tech Automotive of North Kansas City Schools the 2020 School of the Year due to the initiative they showed during an unprecedented time by continuing to learn and grow their knowledge, even creating a student-driven YouTube lab. Jack notes that the award opened doors and provided countless opportunities for the school's automotive students, especially since the future of the program at the time was uncertain. But despite the headwinds the program has gotten in recent years, there are industry-wide issues that challenge Jack to keep information relevant.
What are some of the challenges you faced personally, professionally, throughout this period as an instructor?
Almost 25 years doing this. It's so much has changed. Something that never changes, people will say does, but kids never change. Kids are kids. Kids are awesome. And but so much of the industry has changed that I come from a time when I was working in industry, there were cars coming into the shop that still were carburetor cars. And so if you can put that into perspective of the things that I've seen over my time like that, but now we're seeing things that are coming in that were concepts just 10 years ago.
Right.
The change is happening so fast that we don't really have, for ADAS, driver assist stuff, we don't really have curriculums to teach that, but it's on the road. The EV stuff, again, I can teach the safety things, but at the level I'm at, I really can't I just don't have time to get into some of this stuff.
Before technology outpaces him completely, Jack feels the need to take a bow on the education stage and make a graceful exit into retirement within the next few years. But such major transitions prompt great reflection and require thoughtful planning.
What do you see as your professional legacy that you're leaving behind?
Legacy is a hard word to work with. So I was lucky when I was a kid that I got into this program. I worked with an amazing instructor that helped guide me through a whole lot and continued up until his passing helping me. I hope, if anything, that I've been able to do that for students. Who cares if they can fix cars? You know, if they've learned the importance of get to work on time, while you're there, do a good job. Be a great employee. If that is something that I could give to students, that's what I'd hope it'd be.
Do you have a successor in mind for your position, or?
You know, over the years, I've put it out there about, hey, would you think about doing this? And there are some that I would love to see come in because, like my advisory board now, I have one of the largest advisory boards in our school district, and my advisory board is made up mostly of former students that are in industry now, and I see these kids, some of them 40s now, but they're still my kids. I see them doing these incredible things. And I'm like, man, you'd be so good doing this. But again, how could they take half of their pay? And I understand that, but there are some that I would love to step in. I know they'd be fantastic, but in all reality, the situation financially would have to accommodate that. So I'd love to have somebody that I know come in and do it, because I can't foresee this program not being a part of me for the rest of my life,
right.
You know?
So would you, even if you retire, would you be one of those retirees that's like, I'm retired, but I'll come back and, see how things are going?
So when Bob retired, he did something that I didn't understand until now. I worked with him a semester before he retired, so I could learn, because I'm running a shop, I'm teaching, it's a business, but it's a business that can't make money, and a semester went by really fast. And he told me, in the end, he said, Jack, I'm not going to show up for a couple of years. And he's like, I don't want to sub. He said, I have to distance myself. It has to become yours. And that was one of probably the biggest gifts he was always a phone call away, but he didn't want his legacy. He didn't want those kids to think, well, it's Mr. Vedder's program. He needed it to be handed off to me. So with all that said, I'll be there. Whoever needs me, I'll be there. But it can't be my program anymore.
They say those who can't do, teach, but that certainly isn't the case with Jack Stow. His passion for all things automotive fueled a desire to share it with others, and he takes pride in his students' progress. With each successive class of students, he not only gains new friends, but also promotes the trades to more and more youth. Join us on the next episode of Vehicle Care Rockstars to learn more about Jack's views on the automotive education industry and the future he sees for it. So Jack, we're going to play a little game called Bsides to get to know you better.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a series of choices and you tell us which ones you prefer. Ready? Okay, so let's start with some general questions. Dodge or Ford?
Ford.
Ford Mustang or Plymouth Superbird?
Superbird.
All right, dogs or cats?
Cats.
St. Louis or Kansas City barbecue?
It's Kansas City. Is there a St. Louis barbecue?
We don't know. It doesn't exist. Star Wars or Rocky?
Whew. I saw the premiere of both. Can you believe it? Standing in line. That's how old I am. Rocky.
Okay. Top Gun or Talladega Nights?
Are you wanting to have a conversation? Because it'd be Talladega Nights, and that's where most of my quotes come from. Okay. Inspirational Top Gun, but probably Talladega Nights.
Okay. Fix a car or play guitar?
Play guitar.
Okay. Where is your favorite place to play?
Place called the Neon Rooster. It's in Aberdeen, North Carolina. It's a place that I go with some friends and we get together and get up on stage and do it for real.
All right, well, that segues very nicely into the second part of B-Sides here. Because this is Vehicle Care Rockstars, we kind of have to talk about your musical tastes here. So, you play, right?
I do.
All right. Acoustic or electric guitar?
Acoustic.
Okay. So, Martin or Taylor?
Gibson.
All right, well, I did have a question on here for electric guitars. If you prefer, do you prefer the Gibson Les Paul or Fender Stratocaster?
Fender Stratocaster.
Okay. Do you sing?
According to me, yes. Others, maybe not so much.
What's your preferred accompaniment? If you could have another player up with you, another instrument.
Ooh, so lead guitar to back up my terrible acoustic guitar.
All right. Okay. Rock or country?
Yes.
Okay. Elvis or Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Come on. I'm going to say Stevie Ray because I wasn't smart enough to appreciate him when he was alive. I love Elvis. I love Elvis. But I wish we'd have had more Stevie Ray.
Okay. Garth Brooks or Chris Stapleton?
Chris Stapleton.
Okay. Favorite Chris Stapleton song?
White Horse just came out, and it's powerful.
Journey or Styx?
Grand Illusion. It's got to be Styx.
That is an awesome album. That is my favorite album.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Allman Brothers or the Eagles?
You're mean. Allman Brothers. My wife's going to kill me, but it's Allman Brothers.
All right. First concert you attended?
It was actually Journey, and I went and saw them when they were really Journey, and yeah, back in the 80s.
That's awesome. I wish I could have been there. Last concert you attended?
Oh man, I'm trying to reel it in here. I can tell you a great concert that I went to recently was a dear friend of mine, Jonathan Robinson, which he's a Nashville player and actually my guitar instructor, but I went and saw him play with his band at the Neon Rooster, and watching that kind of talent in somebody you know, wow, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Best concert you've attended?
My wife Bobby got, for my birthday one year, and we went and saw Matchbox 20 with Train was the opening act, and both of them just killed it all night long. It was a fantastic night.
All right. Dream guitar to play?
I'm trying to make that decision right now. It would be a Gibson acoustic, and I can't decide if it's going to be one of the Murphy Lab series or a different custom, but hopefully in June I will be able to answer that question definitively.
All right. Well, Jack, you're a rock star. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.